And hello, welcome to another episode of our Equity Guru Investor Roundtable, where the four of us, content providers and backers and founders of Equity Guru, are sitting around talking about the pros and cons of companies and telling you just how we feel about the investment in any of them or not, as that were. Today we're talking about Skyharbour Resources. This is a uranium play, I guess you could say, a mineral explorer focused on properties in the storied Athabasca Basin, which has some of the best uranium on the planet. The company is trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol SYH, and it is headed by President, CEO, and Director Jordan Trimble, who has a bit of cachet himself. So starting this whole thing off, Chris, you want to hit it? Talk about these guys?
Yeah, so the TLDR on Skyharbour, as I see it anyway, is solid mid. They're just like right in the middle range of, on one side you've got the guys that are actually pulling stuff out of the ground, on the other side you've got the Azincourts of the world that are like getting in that early stage of figuring out what they have. Jordan Trimble and Skyharbour have an abundance of property interests, some of which they have with partners, some of which they have royalty deals. They have access to capital when needed. And they are insiders and management. Key shareholders hold over 50% of this thing. Some of those being Denison Mines, Sprott Uranium Miners, Global X. You've got Marikatuzzi in there. You've got L2. You've got Rio Tinto taking a big piece. Like, no slumps here, man. These guys, they know what they're doing. They understand what they're looking at, and they understand that Skyharbour has gone out and not just got a property where it's like, throw the dice, all or die. They've got multiple properties, including uranium and thorium. And as one of those proves out, that doesn't necessarily pop them to the universe because they've got partners to deal with, but they're also not spending money on all of those deals, right? Their partners are moving those deals forward for them. If anything pops, then that basically pays for all the rest. If anything doesn't pop, it doesn't kill the company. If uranium as a sector has a big move up, which I think we all sort of feel the temperature of that rising, then Skyharbour is legitimately placed to either flip good assets for profit or be one of the real focal points for M&A activity from bigger fish in the sector. I think, having spoken to Jordan last week a little bit, I think he feels that that's probably something that's likely. He's had a few taps on the shoulder. He's had a few conversations with big guys. He's also having conversations on the other side in terms of acquiring more properties, acquiring companies that would fit well within his portfolio, or that he might be able to bring along to bigger fish that could actually help those smaller properties be something big. This is, for mine, this is an ETF pick on the uranium sector, right? Without having to get a whole bunch of crappy companies tossed in. If you think that that uranium is the future of green energy, as I do, and you think that, you know, if Netflix could just stop it with the Chernobyl documentaries for a week and a half, maybe we might get to the point where someone might approve some new nuclear reactors around the place. When you understand that mini nuclear reactors are already on battleships, and that smaller and smaller nuclear facilities are not just like viable, but being put into action. Then you've got China, then you've got Japan, then you've got Germany realizing that it can't turn the nukes off and still keep the lights on. Like, this is uranium's moment. I know that people have been saying that for the past 5-10 years, and it's always been the next big thing, but I honestly feel like this is the point where it starts to go well. And honest to goodness, having uranium in your backyard and not having to go to Russia for it is probably a helpful thing.
Absolutely. Not literally having it in your backyard. There might be a problem with that, but having
I wish I had some in my backyard. Blackberries right now.
There you go. Okay, so I want to pass this on to Fabi, our uranium guru here at Equity Guru. What are your feelings on Skyharbour?
So everybody knows that I absolutely love uranium, and I love the timing of finding companies that have been able to withstand the ups and the downs of the market and are able to keep a good cash position without massively diluting their shareholders into, the ether. And that's one of the characteristics of Skyharbour. You look at who is, some of their strategic shareholders and some of the board and advisors, and this is like the A team of mineral exploration, period. Never mind of uranium. And so I really like the team. I've had the chance to meet a couple of these people, and they seem to be, legitimate people who are trying to push their projects forward. But most importantly, I have a love and hate relationship with the Athabasca Basin. So on one hand, we know that if you hit something, it is going to be absolutely juicy. Your ton is going to be worth many thousands of dollars if you can find something. However, there is a chance that you will not find anything for several years. And in the process of trying to find something, you will dilute. That's just the name of the game. And this is something that they're able to do to have sort of a more balanced approach to it. They're mostly in the Athabasca Basin. I don't know if they have any projects outside of it. I don't believe so. So they're in the right area. They have a lot of JVs, and they're basically letting most other people drill and dilute their shareholders in the hopes that they'll find something and keep some of that. I mean, that's smart, right? And when they do hit, Athabasca Basin plays do not move 5-10%. They double, triple, or more. Because you're talking, 1% grades and above, which is extremely high grade for uranium. So I really like the setup here. My beef with Skyharbour is that they're never uber cheap, because the company's good and it's held by people who know what they're doing. But I like it. Skyharbour gets a big thumbs up from me. Good strategy, good people.
Awesome. All right, that's another positive review. Okay, I'll throw my 2 bits in very quickly. I have to side with both Chris and Fabi. There's a strength in management, a good closeology in terms of where they're located. They've got lots of potential with what they have in their portfolio for many different types of transactions. And yes, uranium is on its way. And I think within the next probably 5 to 10 years, we're really going to see the value that's been ignored on the market so far in terms of how uranium is valued. I like Skyharbour. I like Jordan Trimble. I think these guys got it going on. How about you, Vishal? You tell me technically how you feel.
Well, technically and fundamentally, I'm a fan of Skyharbour. I'm a fan of uranium. Just recently, I think it was a week or 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, we wrote an article. We covered the technicals of uranium. Uranium prices were near the highs of this year, looking like they were going to break above that 53.75 zone. A lot of uranium stocks were popping, but as you can see, the breakout didn't happen just yet, and now we fell back to 50. However, uranium is still holding, that range between 54 and about, let's say 48.80 to the downside, and it is still up 5% for the year. Fundamentally, I'm still a fan of uranium. I know, Fabi's talking about the supply and demand issues. There was talk that some European governments are actually already thinking about putting sanctions or banning Russian uranium. Russian uranium still is not actually under any ban right now. Kazatomprom, the largest uranium company, actually still ships their uranium through St. Petersburg. So uranium from St. Petersburg is heading towards the west, but there's actually talks now that they're exploring a different route through the Black Sea to get the uranium out in case of sanctions on Russian uranium, or Europe just completely banning Russian uranium. So that got the market quite excited, and I think going forward, that's still a fundamental news event which could get the uranium prices spiking, I guess. And again, talking about domestic supply. And Canada, with the Athabasca region, if I remember, it is the highest grade uranium in the world, pretty much. So good place to be, good jurisdiction. And now it's about finding, that resource in the area. In terms of the chart of Skyharbour, again, following that trend of uranium where you had that you had a breakout on the chart here. It looked like uranium prices were going to take out their 2022 highs. Didn't happen. Instead, we have pulled back. So that pullback has taken us back below the breakout zone for uranium, and really for a month, because this is, yes, early October. Really for a month, the stock has just been ranging here between 42 cents to the upside and about 37 cents here to the downside. And we are still maintaining this range. And some people find this boring. I like ranges because it's usually this consolidation phase indicating that whatever trend that just occurred is exhausting. So in this case, we're not heading down lower. We're probably just going to range here, and it helps that we are near a major support zone on the chart around 33 cents or 32 cents here to the downside. So this is now just a typical range play. You can buy at the support here, and you're also supported by major support down here. I know you've used the word support so many times in that sentence, but it is an important technical zone. And then alternatively, if you get a break above the 42-cent level here, that would trigger the range breakout in Skyharbour. So fundamentally, uranium, I'm bullish as well. I think the whole Investor Roundtable is bullish on uranium. I know the retail crowd really, really loves uranium. And for the company, I think, they're in the right area, and it's going to be that, that big catalyst event, some sort of drill result, as Fabi alluded to, which can get the stock price just shooting higher.
Awesome.
Let's not forget. Sorry, let me just interrupt here.
Please.
Let's not forget that what happened today in Poland might actually be an interesting trigger for uranium sanctions potentially. The market has been sort of playing around with this idea for some time, but the whatever that hit Poland that's still being investigated, whether it was a missile or something else. If it's proven to be Russian, and it seems like it is, then it might be sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. Let's see.
Very true, Fabi. Very true. So, Chris, with that in mind, where are you putting your money? We've expanded our purses to 10,000 Equity Guru bucks a piece.
Yeah. Well, if Vishal overlays the price of uranium with the price of a share in Skyharbour, I think they're pretty similar. You've got those two big bumps earlier in the year, and you've got the little plateau over the last few months. So I like whenever I see a stock chart that has a big heart attack monitor bump in it, I like to be able to take that out if I can. Like, is it an important thing that happened to the company that we have to factor in that is no longer happening? Or is it just related to something outside the company? In this case, it's the price of uranium. You can see it pretty clear. So this tells me that the company's not done anything that deserves to be sold off on, right? It's just the sector itself. So if the sector is likely to move up, we can also overlay the future idea that so too will Skyharbour stock. If you take it back to 2020, then that big up and down has even less of an impact, because you're looking at basically a diagonal line from where the stock price used to be to where the stock price is now. And if you take it even further back, you can see going back to 2015, this company's been through some ups and downs, generally speaking, along the lines of the fortunes of uranium. But again, you've got that sort of like building line where things have been, you take away the external factors, Skyharbour has been acquiring properties, it's been acquiring partners, it's been acquiring retail investors, but also institutional investors. It's acquired names like Paul Matysek that, have their track record of putting big things together. This is the AAA minor league team. Yeah. It's not quite the majors. You're not getting the 20,000 people out to see a game, but it's not single A either, right? It's not the guys at the bottom that are throwing some tape around a moose paddock and calling it a project. So to me, an investment in Skyharbour is more an investment in the sector itself. Yeah. Is something that they have likely to go into production in the next year? Probably not. But are they going to get multiple properties closer to production every year going forward? Absolutely. So this is just your quintessential prospect generator, but a lot of prospect generators are generators out of necessity because they don't have the ability to move things forward. They just go out, find a drunk geo hanging off a rock, throw him a slab of Pilsner, and they get themselves another property. This is not that. This is prospect generation in terms of finding things that are ready to move to the next level. If you've got a bit of land that might have uranium under it, Skyharbour doesn't want it. If you've got some land that's got a local community, that has a bit of infrastructure, that has a little bit of history, that has some data attached to it, that maybe has a few permits, now you're in the place where Skyharbour can bring all of their institutional contacts and knowledge and money together and help you get this thing up to a bigger level. So to me, this is less about trading and more about investment. If I put 10K into Skyharbour in 2020, it's 20K now. If I leave that in there for another couple of years, will it get to 40K? Probably quicker than my mutual fund will. So to me, is now the moment? Yeah, I think now's the moment. I would put 5K down today. I would have 5K on an itchy trigger finger ready to deploy if it drops anywhere beneath that 35. Buy on the dips until you've hit your max, and away we go.
There you go, 5K down on the run. Let's get this thing started. How about you, Fabi? How do you feel?
I'm just throwing it all in one go.
Here we go.
You.
That's it.
Holy
Just
smokes.
all in.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's it.
That's the next
Make it
big
easy.
That is easy. Easy peasy.
You know what?
yeah.
We joke, but it's funny. I once bought a company because of Paul Matysek, right? Because I know that when he goes in heavy, and he goes in only in the very best projects that he can find. And that ended up to be, you know, a 20+ bagger for me. Therefore, anytime I see that name, I'm like, ding, 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 the bell is ringing. So not financial advice. However, if you were to make a Paul Matysek ETF, I would most definitely bet the farm on it.
Bet on the jockey.
There you go, man. There you go. Another positive review. All right. Well, I'm kind of, okay, well, where do I go with this? Because, oh yeah, it's ranging. Uranium has got nothing to do but probably go up. Lots of geopolitical upheaval at this point in time that might indicate that we could be in a bit of a short supply. Of course, nothing's going to production this year or next, but this thing follows the market. Fabi, you got me convinced. I'm dumping $10,000 down. Look, I don't know what's going on here.
No.
I've all of a sudden just let loose the purse. Bango. There it is.
You're trying to make back your losses from the money you lost from FTX, right? Because you're a big crypto guy.
I'm a huge
And
crypto
Tesla.
fan. Yeah, Tesla. I've invested heavily in both of those. Yeah, just shoot me. Go ahead, brother.
I'm joining the 10K party as well. I'm bullish on uranium for all the fundamental reasons. I would also advise viewers to, I almost said readers, but viewers to also look at, you know, more near-term producing uranium plays as well. Also, I do really like the Sprott Uranium Trust as well as the Uranium Royalty Corp. So I'm bullish on a lot of things uranium as well. So look at those things as well. But I think it's good to have some of these, I guess, mid-tier juniors as well in your portfolio or in your uranium portfolio. So I'm going 10K as well in Skyharbour.
Wow, that's almost a full pull all the way around. We're pretty excited about this company and the sector.
One dragging the team down. I'll go 10K. Let's
There we go.
Are you? Chris doesn't want to be left out. All right, then hold on 2 seconds. I'll adjust your amount there.
Hey, you know, like if I was elected prime minister tomorrow, you know, like there's a lot of things on my wish list that I would do. Clean up the water for Indigenous people, et cetera, et cetera. But building nuclear power all along the northern side of Canada would be my number one thing. You bring jobs, you bring energy, you bring industry to a part of the country that's largely undeveloped and forgotten. I think that you could sell all of that energy down to the US for the rest of time and fix a lot of their coal-based problems. And you know, everything that turned Alberta into an energy powerhouse for a long time, you could do that right along the damn countryside with really minimal potential for there's a war in Ukraine at the moment. They haven't had a nuclear meltdown yet. I think we can manage it in tuk-tuk-tuk.
Oh.
The days of Chernobyl, fortunately, are over. The technology has changed a lot. Yeah.
Unless
so-
you still live in Chernobyl, in which case,
No,
for another
that's
2,000 years,
that's
but-
a lifetime of hell as far as that's concerned. But okay, so we're feeling pretty positive about both the uranium sector and Skyharbour Resources. Of course, we expect you to do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions. Past performance doesn't include future performance, please. And yeah, just we liked what we talk about, but you got to go see an investment professional, please. All right. There we go. That's this episode
I
of.
don't see an investment professional. They'll just sell you a mutual fund.
Well, okay, but
talk
wait
to
a
them.
But we
minute.
have to say it.
We have to say that.
Say it with a wink.
Don't-
Say it with a wink, and then
Don't
it's
tell them
done.
the other
Talk to them,
thing. That's
but
going
don't
to get
just
us in
give your
hot
money
water. No.
unquestioningly.
Well, don't. Absolutely. That's why I'm saying do your own due diligence. But
But
please,
just don't buy crypto either.
yeah, God, please stay away from that stuff. All right. So that's it for us this week. We're going to see you again soon. So take care. Have good investment times, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.